You know, essentially what Judge Patrice Bucko did April the 26th, 2022 was broke the law when she granted Ronald Rodriguez, the proprietor of Shama Consulting. He owns the DADE through his entity, RJR Charitable Holdings, LLC. And in the face of all the legal opposition against what she did it anyway. It's no more different than a police officer taking his or her gun out and shooting an unarmed victim in the head for nothing, just because he or she is a police officer. That is what Judge Patrice Bucko did. Without any legal support, any background that would justify her action, she did it on the cuff, because the litigant who owns the property that was taken under color of law is a man of color. And Mr. Ron Rodriguez, who seemingly is a white person, want to be white. And also he wants to be a convert, wants to go to Judaism. I don't know. He's not sure what he want to be. But what Judge Bucko did was broke the law. She probably need to go ahead and resign or recuse herself, because anytime a judge, I mean, that's almost like a preschool kindergarten, a preschool teacher violate an infant. You know, there's a great deal of trust placed in the office of the judiciary here in Florida. And when we turn our backs as the people and say, okay, the judiciary got the law, they're going to uphold it, regardless to color. The scales of justice supposed to be blind, The justice scales are not blind. They're actually females and males, 90% of who are Caucasian or Latin, run the courtroom based upon their feelings. Judge Bucko said, look, she knows Judge Jill Freeman. They're friends. And that Judge Jill Freeman wouldn't do this and wouldn't do that. And Judge Jill Freeman has file cabinets in her office, and she keeps everything articulately laid out. And therefore, she looked at the record and made a decision. Well, guess what? The record didn't have that matter in it. That was in another jurisdiction, another judge's jurisdiction. The unlicensed contractor matter was before another judge. But the game was, through alleged bribery, for Judge Freeman to include that topic, validating the judgment without a hearing. Judge Bucko don't see nothing wrong with that. It's okay, you know, a judge can look at a matter and look at this and look at that without even speaking to the litigants and make a decision, and look over into another court's jurisdiction and while the matter is being reviewed by another court, and make a decision for that court. You know, I mean, saying some really off-the-wall stuff. This is a judge, and that any layperson is fairly stupid or dumb, and you can't grasp the law like we can, so to speak. Nothing could be further from the truth, because I study my issue, and I study my case, and I study case law. I do quite good shepherdizing. While she is looking at 10 and 30 and 40 cases on a motion calendar and got to quickly decide who's right, who's wrong, where the law lines. Most of these matters should be an evidentiary hearing. It's not clear-cut. It's not straightforward. It's complications there. But she wants to clear her calendar, and she just started making decisions and writing orders that would subsequently and, you know, eventually get rubber stamped by the third, because the third don't want to do their job. And once they rubber stamp it, you can assure yourself they're not going to write an opinion. That blocks you from any further appellate review from the Supreme Court of Florida. That's the name of the game, and that's supposed to be legal. But yet taking a gun and going into a liquor store or going into a jewelry store in Coral Gables and holding it up, that's equally illegal. Subsequently, you and UPS drivers and other motorists on the road would get shot dead by police so that they could stop the individual who went to burglarize or to hold up a jewelry store. But none of that energy you'll find at a courthouse, where the same crimes are committed, if not worse. You look at Mr. Wilson's case, a $3.5 million building, homestead building, mixed-use property. Mr. Ron Rodriguez wanted it. He got it for $10 and sold it for $3.5 million with a void judgment. Contractor that did the work on Mr. Wilson's property and subsequently got a default judgment. Default because Mr. Wilson wasn't noticed, wasn't served the subpoena or the summons, and so therefore Mr. Wilson wasn't there and got a default. So that in itself voids that judgment. But take it a step further, Mr. Shama wasn't even licensed by the state of Florida according to Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulations. So that ends his judgment. It's void from day of inception. But nobody wants to visit that. Judges want to pass the buck. And Patrice Bucko is no different. She needs to resign. She needs to go back to doing whatever she was doing. I hope it ain't lawyering, but whatever it was prior to getting into the judiciary. These are the kind of people the people of Florida needs out of the judiciary. Need new young people in who are not going to be persuaded and influenced by other corrupt individuals in the legal community for money or for prestige or for power or for position. You take an oath of office, you either live up to that oath or go to jail. I mean, you got Philip Davis. That's a black judge. They railroaded him, put him in jail for 20 years. State attorney did. You don't see them doing that to many white and Latin judges, female judges. They let them all retire out, make their money and run. But the moment someone in the streets go and do exactly what these judges are doing, some of these judges, not all, don't think for one moment the whole lot is corrupt, because they're not. They are very honorable judges who wouldn't dare do what Judge Bucko or Judge Jill Freeman or Judge Michael A. Hinsman or Judge George Cueto or Judge Victoria Del Pino is doing. No, you got honorable judges out there. You can name them. But aside from those few who are obviously bad apples in the judiciary, the remaining are great and fine men and women of our judiciary. I just wanted to get that in there. Along with other lawyers out there, fine, fantastic community of legal practitioners. We need to give them respect and honor as well. But these judges that we just named, specifically Judge Patrice Bucko, she knows better. She had some parte communication prior to having that hearing on April the 26th, either with the county or some undergirding entity that wanted to make sure that Mr. Wilson is not looked down as favorable in her court. The county is in control of the 11th Circuit Court judge in a big way, whether it's through the election department to make sure that they get elected or don't get elected. There's a lot of pressure there. There's no independence. You'll find that it's corrupt, bad. But be that as it may, we hope some changes are developed soon at the 11th that brings some credibility and accountability to the court. I'm Keith Wilson. That's my rap.